Well, what have we just witnessed in the last 10 overs? We asked the question, when a team is up against the wall, 0-4, what is it that could possibly happen? Could they come out fighting? Could they play like wounded tigers? Well, whatever metaphor you want to use, Chennai have come out and shown the way. The back 10, 155 runs, getting to a final whopping total well in excess of 200. Here we are on Cricbuzz Live. We've seen quite an exhibition. We didn't think we weren't even going to get close there. Joined by Harsha and Simon. Dooley, we were together having a wonderful chat on Cricbuzz Combox, and we said they'll be happy with 150. They got there, and a little small change beyond.
Crazy, incredible batting. I mean, from the time we started to do the Combox, it was about the over that Harsha bowled the first over when Shivam Dube took him down. And then they just continued on. They went at, what'd they go, 15 for the last 10, which, I mean, you think about going at 15 and over for the last 3, maybe, the last 4 at a pinch, but 15 and over for the last 10, just sensational stuff. I mean, and some clean hitting from Robbie Uthappa and from Shivam Dube. And one thing I did mention was we talked about Shivam Dube. As long as he stays composed and uses those long levers to hit down the ground, mostly, not sideways, he is always going to be successful, and he's just shown that. It was some incredible hitting tonight. When you look at those numbers of what they did, 14.6 from 11 to 15, and then 16 after that, 16.4. So exactly 15. It was just incredible stuff.
16.4 you can probably imagine on most days, but it's that phase from 11 to 15 when they just started going. You were wondering whether they'd wait. Harsha, if you look down that lineup, you'd probably think, if you just walked in right now, so Ruturaj finally got going. Moin must have got a few. Jadeja must have finally come to the party. What about MS? He must have got a few. You would probably not have put Shivam Dube and Robin Uthappa as the only architects of this.
True, but they've been the leading run scorers anyway. But I think we need to put a little epitaph for the pitch report and say, here lies a pitch report full of honest intent. But that is where it ends. First 10 overs, 60. Next 10 overs, 156, which is what I thought would have been a decent score over 20 overs. And they've done it over 10. But it just tells you when your mind is uncluttered and you're going for it, it can make such a difference. If you remember, CSK in 2020, CSK in 2021, what was the one big difference between those two seasons? The way they played their middle overs, with Moeen Ali and the others bossing those middle overs, Ruturaj playing beyond the power play and into the middle overs. That is where they won the IPL in 2021. And they finally come out and done that. With a word of caution, they scored 210 and lost once before in this tournament. So we'll just wait till both sides have played on it. But this was, I mean, after a while you get numb, don't you? And yet that would be unfair to the quality of hitting, because they weren't just slogging. It was just very clean stroke play, and it wasn't at the 1KD. It wasn't in one of Mumbai's Maidans, where if you don't know what to do, you hit into the railway tracks. This is just incredible. What about Robin Uthappa? We're talking about Shivam Dube, and well, we might. Robin Uthappa is going slow. He's below run a ball. And wow, I mean, this was sensational. If CSK needed something to lift them.
Yeah, and they needed something absolutely out of the box, and that's exactly what they got. But we'll obviously talk a lot more about Robin Uthappa and Shivam Dube, but how much of a difference could and might Harshal Patel's 4 overs have made, Simon?
Yeah, look, I think they would have made a difference. Pace off, what we saw from Siraj, from Hazelwood and from Akashdeep was generally just trying to bowl quicker, almost when they were being taken to. We didn't see a lot of slower balls. We didn't see the slower balls used in the big side of the ground either. Look, he'll have better days, Akashdeep, and you're going to have those situations. But the keys were, when we talked about that pitch report, you look at, I mean, the spinners, 9 was as good as it got for Shahbaz Ahmed, Maxwell at 9.6, and Hasaranga, who we thought was probably going to be one of their big weapons, has gone at 12s. So those were the key 8 overs there that have gone for on average 9.5 to 10 and over. 84, 82, 84 runs off those 8 overs of spin, which is what we thought might be able to keep Chennai a bit quieter. Just wasn't the case. So, yeah, as I say, Akashdeep will have better days. Siraj a little bit expensive again, and Hazelwood was taken to at the back end, but I didn't see a lot of slower balls, and that's something that we know Harsha Patel would have probably done better.
There was a bit of a dilemma, Harsha, for Faf du Plessis, because there was a stage when you're trying to calculate, is he going to go back to Siraj and Akashdeep? If it was the pitch report as far as Swanee was concerned, he would probably have finished them off. But even if it wasn't, was there a case for someone like Hasaranga, even though he's got hit for a couple of sixes, to at least have bowled his 4? It would have been a choice between him bowling 2 and Akashdeep bowling 1. Or are we just talking after the event?
I mean, it's easy to say after the event. Can you imagine being the captain on the field while everything is going on around you? And you might say, okay, my spinners have been taken to the cleaners. It was against the spinners that the onslaught started. Let me go back. Maybe the quicker bowlers, maybe they'll take pace off. Maybe they'll have something extra. Maybe they'll have the Yorkers. Let me go back to them. And actually, if you look at it, if you take other than Akashdeep, other than Akashdeep, you see that the quicker bowlers didn't do that badly. Hazelwood went 33, Siraj went 37. Whereas the fast bowlers, the spinners all went sort of 9.662. Actually, yeah, not that different. Hazelwood was the only one who was less. But the fast bowlers got into the end assault. Nah, I don't think it made much difference.
Fair enough. But I think really the man to salute. We've seen Robin Uthappa do it on many occasions, and he is one of the leading run scorers. Shivam Dube has had a decent innings, but it's been up and down so far. But is this the innings, Simon Doull, that will define Shivam Dube's future?
Well, is it the season? That's the key to it. He's already done it for Chennai already this year. Is it the season where he just feels like he belongs and he's got a genuine role, a set role in the team? He's got confidence from coach, from captain, from senior players to just go out there and play the Shivam Dube way. He's not trying to hit across the line. He's using those long levers. It was an incredible innings, 8 sixes and 5 fours, and an amazing strike rate. I think at one stage there was a team 50 that was brought up in Pat Cummins' time, wasn't there? There was I think the third 50 or the fourth 50, was off 14 deliveries. So I just wonder whether it's the season that we see the best out of Shivam Dube, whether he just feels a little more comfortable in his own skin, whether he's just got a dead and we might see a breakout sort of a season for him, and who knows, it could be the launch to maybe get him back in amongst that Indian setup and being a key contributor later in the year.
And let's remember, Harsha, if things had gone according to plan, it would probably have been Ambati Rayudu coming in earlier. Inspired move, sending him up the order, whether that was Jadeja, Fleming, Dhoni, we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Moeen Ali went away, so that maybe they thought they'll have a left-hander in. Maybe Rayudu was ready. If Uthappa had got out, maybe they would have sent Rayudu. So maybe that's why they send the left-hander in.
Yep, well, that's probably is the case. But either way, it probably made a lot of sense, because whether it was about left, right or not, and you saw Jadeja came in after that, then came MS Dhoni. But yeah, Rayudu hasn't quite looked in that kind of form. So I think it just made sense to send him out there. And he fed on the fact that he came in with time to play.
I thought you were asking Dooley.
No, it's still you. Dooley had popped out for a moment.
Okay, it's still me. No, it's still me. Yeah, I mean, I've no doubt at all in my mind that if Robin had got out at that stage with a run out, and it could have happened, maybe they would have sent Rayudu. But as it turns out, he's not only in very good form, but the long levers that Dooley talked about, I think he was just hitting through the line very well. Look, he's got a reputation for doing this on the small grounds in Mumbai. And he's been given a long enough rope to play even for India. And to be fair, he hasn't quite delivered as often. So you never know what you're feeling good about life. Yeah, I don't know how important it is. Marriage, having a little child. I see him taking a little baby around in a pram. Maybe he's just more relaxed about life. I don't know. Or maybe something has clicked for him. But when he bats like this, you now understand why people were saying what they were about Shivam Dube. And he's lucky to get that number 4 slot. There's very few teams that have got that number 4 slot in.
Well, it's not just Shivam Dube alone. If you talk about a pram, maybe young Neil is just out of the pram as far as Robin Uthappa is concerned. But he too has been embracing fatherhood, enjoying life, enjoying cricket. Dooley?
Yeah, look, yes, I think that's I'm sorry, mate, I'm losing you a little bit here. I don't know what's going on with this internet, but was it a question about Robbie still?
It was. Robbie, fatherhood versus Shivam Dube as well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, look, I see Shivam Dube, and we've both seen him, Harsha, around the hotel in the last few days. He looks more relaxed, and Robin Uthappa's the same. He came up and had a chat to us at the breakfast table just the other day, and just the way he's talking about how life is for him at the moment, and the love he has for children, and these sorts of things, what he's seen in his future, and what he's looking for in the next sort of few years. But just when you're in a really in life in general, that certainly must transfer over to your game and over to cricket. And they both seem very happy this morning. And in the last few days, even though things haven't gone Chennai's way, both those guys have seemed very, very comfortable. And when we've talked to them, or when I've seen them and talked to them, they just have seemed very comfortable in their lives at the moment. And that must play out and transfer to the cricket field as well.
I will tell you one other thing about both those, Gautam. When those two get going, they're among the more elegant players on the circuit. When Robin hits, it's one of the most pleasant things you will see, because just the shape he gets into, the position he gets into, he makes batting look wonderful. But Shivam Dube did that as well. Even though there was carnage, those two made it look very pleasant. If ever a carnage can look pleasant.
Yeah, well, we've got the innings underway. Dooley, you called it Moeen Ali bowling the opening over for Chennai. But just to look at this possible run chase, Harsha, you briefly mentioned, let's not celebrate until the innings is over, because it's a fabulous total on the board, but they need to defend it. And they need to defend it against a fairly aggressive batting lineup. Du Plessis, Anuj Rawat, Virat Kohli, Glenn Maxwell, the big show still waiting to come to the party. And just in case you need even more, there's Hasaranga, Shabazz, and the king finisher and Dinesh Karthik, Harsha.
And the bat all the way up to number 8. So if there's a side that can chase it, that's got the people of the right temperament to chase it, I think RCB can. I mean, what better finish than to have a 70-80 by a Kohli and a close finish? That'll be the icing on the cake. But yes, they have the firepower. Only sometimes you can go very hard when you're chasing 216. So you've got to be very careful not to end up being 40 for 3.
Yeah, we saw Faf the other night play a very measured innings in his opening essay. So he probably Dooley wants something like that from him, to be measured, not think of 215 from ball 1, but pace themselves.
He can't afford to be slow. Look, they can't afford a 40-run, 45-run power play for mine. They have to have a 60-run power play. So I think Faf has to play a different role. He has to be a lot more aggressive tonight. Both players have to be aggressive tonight. They either get close or they might lose by 70 or 80, I think. I don't, a 180, 190 score. I think they'll get really close or they might lose by 70 or 80.
All right, I'm going to take that last word from Dooley as his number for the prediction for the power play, since we were so far off the mark, Harsha. So I'm throwing Dooley as 60. Do you have a slightly higher number for them, power play?
No, I've got a 52.
You have a 52. Well, I'm going to go even lower. 47. 47, pace themselves and then launch into orbit. But for Bangalore's sake, I think 60 is where they'd like to be. Moeen Ali bowling the opening over. It's now over to Chennai to see if they can continue the miracle. They've won the last 10 overs. They need to win maybe 15 of the next 20 to try and win this game. That's all we have on Cricbuzz Live from Simon Doull, Harsha Bhogle and myself, with the promise that we'll see you in about 10 overs time, 9 to be precise, on Cricbuzz Combox.